Hello, everyone. Roz in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Butterfly Roz Show. Um, Today's video is a review of this wig, and I need to pull up the information about the wig. I did not feel like typing all of the information about where I ordered the wig because I put it in previous videos, but I will put them in the description box below. So I am not paid for my reviews. I'm not paid to wear the wig or anything like that. I pay for the wig out of my own pocket from AliExpress. And let me see if I can find the wig. You know how things are. Oh, I bought this wig from AliExpress, Myrna, from Myrna, Myrna. And let me get that info for you. Oh, that's me wearing the wig. Okay. Um, so I will give you my update. So on this wig, the wig that I bought, stop the video, is a 40-inch, 300% density Vietnamese bone straight wig, double drawn, 100% raw human hair with 13 by 4 lace frontal wig, human hair pre-plucked. And I paid, like, when you include the tax and everything, I paid about $176 or something like that. And yeah, 40-inch. I believe this is the right wig. 40-inch. So no, this is not the right wig because my wig was not 300% density. It was, where is it? Oh, here it is. My bad. I'm reading the wrong. Same vendor, Myrna glueless wig, 36-inch, 250% density Vietnamese raw human hair, 13 by 4 lace wig, from China. Okay. And I paid $182.88 total. And it got here on time. But when I first received the wig, I was unimpressed because I wanted a wig like the wig that was pictured on the website in the video. And I don't feel like that is what I got. So this is like, what, it's been about 2 weeks or so since I bought this wig. So here's the update. Well, you guys, I have not even washed this hair yet, and it, as you can see, kind of see, this is the whole wig, 200% density, okay? And as you can see, it's just all balled up together. I kid you not, okay? I have to pretty much comb this hair out a couple of times a day. And this is not what me wearing like a heavy jacket and then the wig is just sliding around in it. It's hot here today. Excuse my appearance, but it's hot here in California. And so there was no need for me to wear a heavy jacket, but yet this hair bunches up like this. For this to be raw human hair, Y'all tell me if I'm wrong now. Um, and so I tried to add like this oil, this stuff here. Ugh. This is the stuff I love. I'm not advertising for these people, but this, darn it. Hold on, this light is too bright. There we go. Where are you? So I love this oil. It's not like super greasy or super heavy. And you don't need a lot of it. I ordered this huge bottle on Amazon for about 25 bucks, and it just lasts me for months and months. And you only need a little bit, and you don't need to use it every day, okay? It's Silk Therapy leave-in treatment, okay? And I just absolutely love this. So, and I use this for all my wigs, all of them. When they start kind of drying out some or act like they want to kind of act up, my washing machine is going boom, 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 boom. And I keep thinking somebody's knocking at my door. So I said, okay, maybe I'll help out the wig, give it a little grace, and put a little oil in it. It didn't make a difference. It looked pretty when I put it in and combed it out. And trust me, I comb my hair out and wrap it up in a protective style every night. I never go to bed and just leave the hair loose. Okay? So it don't matter how tired I am going to comb my hair out and wrap it up. So at first it was looking good, okay? It shined up and everything. So and then it's I use a wide tooth comb to comb it, and I start at the ends, and it sheds a little bit now because I guess because it's starting to get tangled. It's starting to shed more every time I comb it. It's shedding everywhere. Crazy washing machine. Anyway, and so I have to really like comb it and work with it. So you guys, that's not what I expected. Not what I expected in the wig. First of all, the wig is, to me, the only thickness is right here. Like up here, it's nice, and it's a decent thickness. But when you come down, it's like it does not feel like it's 250% density, y'all. Unless I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'll show you what I read, and then I'm going to move on from this if I can find it. So I was looking at pictures, and I had a thought. I said, okay, maybe because it's 36 inches that the longer wigs thin out. But apparently, that's not even the case. Where is it what I saw? Uh, I can't. Okay, length. Okay, I can't find it. But I was reading something about like if the length of the hair. Okay, here it is right here. This is what the AI said, okay? On Google, you can Google it yourself. I said do longer 200 do longer wigs 250% density. What's the rest of my question? Look thinner because of their length. Okay, and the AI overview, it says no. Longer 250% density wigs are not inherently thinner. In fact, they are designed to be fuller and thicker than low density wigs. Here's a breakdown. Wig density refers to the amount of hair used on the wig cap, with higher percentages indicating more hair and therefore more volume. This 250% density is the highest density you'll typically find, resulting in a very volume, volume, voluminous, and thick look. A couple of years ago, I would have been able to ace that word. Now, my tongue gets tied and feel like my tongue getting old. A very, very voluminous and thick look. Okay, so wig density measures how full your wig is. It's expressed as a percentage ranging from low hair density of 50 to 60% to high hair density 200% and up. Your wig's density directly affects how full your wig will look after you put it on. Low density wigs will look thinner, while higher density wigs look fuller. I'm disappointed, y'all, because this wig is not fuller. In fact, it's so thin that it's so thin that when I looked in the mirror after I was gone all day, I was out and about running some errands, and when I got home, I could see when I went to the bathroom that the hair was crunched up again, bunched up like this again, like it's been doing, all matted and everything. So then I decided to, you know, I was frustrated. I said, forget it. And I just threw it back behind me. And it's like so thin. You could see through it. You could see through it, y'all. How is this thick? You can see through it. When I put a mirror up to it, there's like all these spaces where there's no wig. So I don't know what's going on, and I'm bummed out because now I gotta wait until I can put up the money to buy a new one. So unless somebody would love to send me and show me what a 250% density wig is supposed to look like, I'd be happy to do a review, but I'm going to give you an honest review, okay? So I'm still unhappy with this wig. And on top of that, it mats up and it starts making me, and then it gets dry, even though I put oil in it. And you know, it takes kind of a minute to detangle it, but once you do detangle it, it looks fine. It's just thin and it don't look anything like the picture, you know. I mean, I don't know, y'all. So, hey, if it's something I'm missing, please let me know. Okay? All right. Well, so my final review, the hair sucks, okay? In my opinion, the hair sucks. Next. Okay, now we're going to talk about fat shaming. Fat fat shaming. Okay? So let me change my screen. I have my little shaming thingy somewhere. Where is he? so sad. Such a shame. Y'all, this is close to my heart. Ladies, whoever you are out there, if you dread the spring and the summer instead of embrace it, well, I'm sure you are not alone. You you notice you feel more fat shame in the spring and summertime, because in the winter and the fall you can wear a jacket or a sweater to kind of cover up, but in the summertime when it's hot, those jackets are coming off, and for a lot of people so are the clothes. And so when it comes to wanting to lose weight, you have to set a goal that is attainable, something that's realistic, a goal that you can follow forever and ever. Because if you have a diet that is too strict, when you fail it, when you start feeling like you're cheating, then your emotions, you're depressed and disappointment, and you're in yourself, those emotions cause you to binge eat, which is only making things worse. Then there's an endless cycle of self abuse. We abuse ourselves in secret. Sure, we might tell fat jokes, but really, on the inside is a person that feels shame. Person that in secret probably cries as they are plotting and eating the very food that they vowed they wouldn't eat. Self-loathing and embarrassment and depression, and even suicide and eating disorders. And I feel you, ladies. I'm right there with you on some of those things. I personally have yo-yo dieted ever since I had my first child. Okay. But when you have those Beyoncés out there, and and everybody, and those Cardi B's, and those Megan the Stallions, and these beautiful actresses that seem like they just had, like Holly Berry, that just seems so perfect, and everybody goes wild over them, and they look good in their clothes and all of that stuff, and then here you are. So then you start feeling insecure and self-conscious around if you're married, or if you have a significant other. You start feeling like you're a disappointment to them. And then, ladies, I'm sure you know this, that in the summertime and the springtime, when it starts warming up, husbands act crazy because ladies are showing more skin. So men begin to lust and cheat. Then they start lying. Not saying they don't lie sometimes, but they start lying. You start catching them in lies. Then there starts to be a trust issue because of your insecurity. And then you start being paranoid, like looking at their phone, and these things lead to arguments and fights. And it's just, It's just a vicious cycle. You start wondering, well, why his location isn't on while he's gone? Why isn't he answering the phone or answering my text messages? And who is that calling him, and why won't he answer it when he's with me? Your mind goes all over the place. And ladies, I'm not saying that there are not men out there who are cheating on you. I'm not saying that. That's not true. But you really feel it when you are disappointed with yourself and the way you look. And that's exactly where Satan wants you. Satan uses these tactics to break up marriages. He wants to separate the two, isolate you, and devour each of you individually. So the other person, if they have wandered on and started cheating and feel like they're living their best life, hey, I'm doing fine. I'm happy. I'm enjoying myself. I finally have the woman of my dream. Without the commitment. Well, guess what? You think you're enjoying your life, but you just don't know that you are lost. Okay? This affects, and then when you divorce, this affects the rest of the family, the children, the grandchildren, the body of Christ, which represents the church. It's shocking when this happens in churches, with couples in church, but it does happen. We're all human beings, sinners. But this is a spiritual battle. Those who don't care and won't repent will deserve the punishment of God. But God is love. He's the holiest of holies and cannot tolerate unrighteousness, especially after he has given you a chance to be washed clean through his blood. So I do want to validate the insecurities and the shame that people who are larger go through, or the fat shaming that people have to endure. Even if nobody else is saying anything, you can fat shame yourself. You can do that to yourself. You can imagine that people are looking at you a certain way, and they may not be. And it's very hard. I know it is. And I'll tell you what I do. Sometimes I set a goal that is unattainable because it's a little bit unrealistic. I get super motivated at times when I see that my clothes are not fitting the way I want them to fit. And the moment I start fat shaming myself, I said, okay, instead of shaming myself, what am I going to do about it? And so I make a plan, and then I get the calendar out, and I said, okay, on this day, on the 1st of April, I'm going to start walking every day and yada, yada, yada. And I'm going to eat this and that and not eat this and that. Okay. Sometimes you're able to get through the first day. Sometimes you're not. And then you start fat shaming and abusing yourself all over again. But what we have to remember, ladies, is that, hey, if someone really loves you, they will love you unconditionally. And that's not to say, now I am not saying that I'm not talking against trying to be healthy, because we need to look at this as more of us wanting to be healthy. We want to help our bodies. We want to be able to be able to do more physically, instead of being out of breath, you know, or your back is hurting when you're standing up too long. Your feet hurt, because of all the weight and everything, the toll that it's taking on your body. Because one thing for sure, I tell you like this. I know when I have reached that overweight stage, because my body start reacting in different ways, in familiar ways. Okay, the first thing is my feet start hurting again, so that's called plantar fasciitis. So that starts really being starts hurting me again. My back starts hurting again because the abdominal muscles are weak. And so when you gain belly fat, you don't have anything to support your back. So when you stand up for an extended amount of time, your back is going to start hurting. You just start feeling uncomfortable. So if anything, think about the weight you were where you felt good. It's not about your appearance. Not that that's not important too, but you gotta focus on your health, because you want to take care of these bodies that God gave you. You want to purify yourself. Drink lots of water, plenty of water. Eat the vitamins that you need through your foods, and eat your vegetables. Eat your fruit. Okay? Make sure you are taking care of the needs that your body has, like making sure you're getting enough protein in your diet. Okay? There's nothing wrong with snacking once in a while. Or, to tell you the truth, I'm picking out my snack. I pick out a snack every day now. Every day. And, okay, if you have to have a snack every day, then pick the one you're going to have that day. And the strategy is to try to eat only the serving size that's on the back of it. Okay? Just try that. Just start off like, okay, I'm going to have a snack one time a day. And then if you're going to have a snack, like if you decide you're going to eat cookies or something like that, okay, then think about it this way. Your metabolism slows down the later it gets in the evening, especially when it gets around the time when your body is ready to sleep. Everything slows down. So if you're going to have your snack, eat that around lunchtime. Don't eat it late at night before you go to bed. I'm telling myself this. I don't know where it came from. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So I need to go back and look at this video myself. Thank you, Jesus. So yeah, that's what I'm being led to say. Is have your snack earlier in the day. And try to see if the serving size is something that you can do and be satisfied. If not, if you're going to snack, try to do it earlier in the day and try to just choose one. Okay, that's what I do with my grandson. If he wants ice cream and then he wants cookies, I tell him, you got to pick one. You can't have both. And you don't have to eat both. It's not going anywhere. You can have the cookie tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know why there's this mentality that I got to eat it all today or it'll be gone. You know, it's like, stop, step on the brakes here and just say, hey, I don't have to eat all of this. You know, if you want to ensure that nobody else is going to touch it, then maybe you find a way to label it and say, mine, do not touch. You know, so that's one thing. And then eventually, hopefully, it will become a habit of you having your snack earlier in the day. And then if you can't choose, just remember, you can choose a different snack tomorrow. Okay? And I think that would help with your weight loss just right there. And then the other thing is trying not to eat past a certain time. Try to go to bed with something that's going to occupy your mind, because for some reason at bedtime, when we're slowing down and, at bedtime, it's like your mind just start craving for some type of satisfaction. Something to eat is where your go-to thing. And it's hard, but maybe trade a snack for maybe some tea. Drink some warm hot tea and let it, and just sip on it and put what you want in it, preferably some honey, some lemon, something like that. Just drink some warm water or some warm, nice hot tea and sip on it and make it a ritual at bedtime. At bedtime, I go to bed and I have my cup of tea. It'll warm your belly and hopefully put you to sleep. So that's 2 things you can do, 2 changes that you can make. So now we have 2 strategies. If we gotta have a treat every day, eat it earlier in the day. And then when you go to bed, your treat will be a hot cup of tea. And you'd be surprised. Now you might not see changes immediately, but over time you're developing habits that helps your body. Just those 2 things. Because trust me, it's hard for your body to rest and recharge if it's digesting food all through the night that you ate right before you went to sleep. So help your body recharge itself by being kind to your body and drink a cup of tea. And then also when you go out, if you're out and about, bring your own snack from home. Okay? Think of a healthy snack that you can bring with you. If you have your treat that you want to bring, well then bring that. But still, carry with you something like beef jerky or some crackers and a little bit of cheese from home, whatever. Just always be armed with with a snack, because temptation is going to be all around you. There's going to be tater chips, McDonald's, Starbucks. There's going to be all these places that's calling your name. Okay, that was horrible. Anyway, that's calling your name. But you don't have to answer that call. You can open up your bag and eat your snack that you brought with you And you should, hopefully, that will satisfy you until you can get home and eat some food. Another thing is to try not to eat out so much. Not only will it help your wallet, but it will help your body. You don't know what they be putting in that food for sure. And um, it's always better to just eat a home cooked meal at from home. But if that's not possible, then by all means eat, because you also don't want to be overly hungry either. But just go ahead and eat. Hey, you just have to make up your mind that you're gonna definitely exercise later on or the next day. So, and I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a therapist, so I don't have any type of training in this. These are just things that I have tried and that I am willing to try, and I'm just sharing them. Okay, food for thought is what it is. So, as as far as the husbands looking at you, maybe critiquing you, making you feel embarrassed if you want to grab a cookie to eat, that's a hard one right there. That's a really hard one right there. I can be honest with you. And they may not even be thinking what you might be the one that's tripping. But if they are like looking at you with a critical eye, and saying, hey, you sure you want to eat that cookie? Like, is it in my hand? What you may have to do is what I've done is had a heart-to-heart conversation with my husband, and I've had to have it with my daughters. Anyone that seemed like is their place to tell me what I should and should not eat, I let them know how that makes me feel. For one thing, you appreciate their concern, but it's not helping you. You need to do this on your own without people judging what you're doing. Okay? This is between you and the Lord at this point. So that's all I can say about that right there. Ooh, it's so hot. Let me turn this light off. I don't need it right now because you can't see me anyway, right? There we go. So, now hopefully, you never know how people are going to react when you talk to them. And you tell them, hey, I don't appreciate that. Even if they mean well, you know what? Sometimes you have to just not care what people think, because you know what you're doing. And it's, you know, you know what you're doing. And do they really think by telling you in that moment that that's going to help you? Their eyes can't be on you 24 hours a day. So it's definitely up to you. Okay? That's what they have to understand. That this is something between you and them snacks and the food. Okay? So that's another tip. And but I feel you, sisters. And as far as clothing, you know what? If it gets too hot, do not put on no long sleeve sweater or jacket. It'll be like a sauna up in there. You be sweating, and people be like, aren't you hot? Don't you want to take off that jacket? And you like dripping sweat talking about, no, I'm fine. It sure is hot in here. And they're looking at you crazy, like, take off your coat. Some things you got to have a humor about, okay? I remember one time my husband, I was doing that. I had started gaining weight and I didn't want him to know. So I was trying to hide it under this sweater and it was burning up hot that day. And my husband was like, because I was saying, it's hot in here. Can you turn on the air conditioner? And he was like, well, you got that sweater on. Why don't you take your sweater off? And I said, cuz I don't want to. And he said, well, it would make sense, if you take the sweater off, then maybe you'll feel cooler. And then I get mad because I feel pressured and I don't want to tell him the real reason because I'm ashamed that I'm ashamed. So I'm wearing the sweater, which is insane. Insane. I'm trying to rhyme, y'all. Trying to rhyme. I'm almost done with this video. So, child, I said, finally, he kept pressing the issue, and I was starting to feel more and more uncomfortable with the conversation, and I'm sweating at the same doggone time. And I just lashed out, and I said, it's like, because I'm fat and ugly, okay? That's why. He said, fat and ugly? I said, yes. I don't want to show my arms. I don't want to show how much weight I've gained. So would you just turn on the air conditioner, please? And he just like, whoa, okay, suit yourself, No, I just dramatized it a little bit more to make it interesting and funny. But I've had people say that to me. But look, first of all, spring is coming. So you need to start like thinking about, okay, I know the hot weather is on its way. It's almost springtime. So I am going to need to figure out what I'm going to be wearing right away for those hot days. Because I will not be sweating until I almost want to pass out, looking nutty. So find things that you're comfortable in, like certain materials are cooler than others. Sundresses, something long and flowy. If you're ashamed of your legs, then and you would like to wear a long summer dress. If you're ashamed of your arms, maybe a nice flowy dress that has sleeves, but not long, but just kind of short. And if that's still not an option that you have for yourself, then a nice shawl, like some type of like shawl that you can just put over your shoulders and feel a little bit covered up, but not confined to the point where now you're trapped inside of something and you're sweating. Something like that. Okay? Because not everybody can wear tank tops and shorts. Okay? And things like that. Just so, and it's always better, to be modest. You don't even need to do all of that to be beautiful. Okay? And just because other people do it and they walking around, the men that's gawking at them, they're gawking at them because of the flesh that they're showing. They're nothing but flesh. They're not people to them. They're just eye candy, something to look at that's on display. I'm not trying to put those ladies down. Well, yes, I am. But just think of it as like, hey, all they see is, because men are very visual, okay? there's no depth of respect when a man is just looking at you for what you're advertising. They're looking at your butt or your long legs that you are showing in your shorts and your midsection. They're just looking at your body. Okay, you're just fulfilling a fantasy of something they want to look at. But that's it. They just want to look at it. Or if they approach you, it's because they want you to take this fantasy a step further. It's not because they respect you, want to know anything about you, want to get to know you with no ulterior motive. So, um, that's what I'm thinking. I'm not a man. So, fellas, if you want to chime in, tell me, what do you think about girls that wear all that skimpy clothing in the spring and the summertime? What do you really think about those girls? And would you prefer a young lady, or it don't matter, you could be an older lady, whatever, that's wearing a nice long flowy dress? Who would you consider a relationship with? Or who would you take more seriously? You know? So, all right. So, I think that's all I have to say for now. So, it's like, focus on your health, okay? And also find the things about yourself that you do like. Maybe you have a nice face, nice hair. And they always say that, okay, focus on that. Well, focus on that. Um, but I know that you don't want to just be another pretty face. You want the physique to match. Okay, then I would focus on wanting a physique, wanting to change my body because I want to be healthier versus I want to just look good. That's part of it. But maybe if you could kind of change your thinking some, that would make it a little bit easier. Um, so, so what are your thoughts? I thank you so much for coming on my channel and watching this video. Um, So, and I will put the description of the wig in the description section. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up and share with a friend. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. I'm saying bye bye like I'm hanging up a phone.